So I love words. I didn't fully acknowledge this for a long time, like what love can look like. You know, there's so many different kind of ways that love gets pulled or stretched into strange shapes because of our particular neurosis or bias or blessed uniqueness in the world. And so I have this thing that I've been doing for many, many years. I think I would just call it an obsession with labeling. And so the master and her emissary, Iain McGilchrist's work, talking about the master should be your intuitive, your felt, your kind of bodied experience, which is your mind. And then the emissary is this ego mind, this planning mind. Well, you know, there's obviously many ways in which these things are interconnected and cross-hatched and everything else. But I definitely have lost myself for very long periods of time in this basically way of procrastinating by trying to like come up with the perfect word to describe something, and then of course things change, life goes on, and a minute later it doesn't feel right anymore. And this has gone on for years. You know, I mean, I've done other things, but it's taken up a lot of energy. So I'm just getting curious about how to transmute my particular obsession with labeling. And the thing is that labeling, it gets, there's gasoline poured on it by this society. Everybody has these, bios and CVs and resumes that are like, this is what I do. And there's this huge, long, impressive list of increasingly esoteric and specialized terms that describe things. So this has been pointed out to me that this is a particular disease that I have, that instead of just saying something in order to communicate it, I become so esoteric that nobody knows what the F I am talking about. And that's partially that was my motivation for a long time, is if you can speak esoterically enough, people think you're smart, and they're afraid to ask too many questions, and they let you do what you want. And so to a certain degree I was effective. That plan like worked for me for a while. But anyway, but then you end up spinning in circles and making yourself crazy and never actually getting to the good stuff, which is the work, the creative work, the work of moving through the world intuitively and with deep embodied, can I say that word, presence, sensuality, sensuousness, engagement, responsibility, the ability to respond as opposed to reacting defensively because somebody has gotten in the way of your carefully laid plans. Yeah, that's me. So I was just thinking, I'm looking at my notes because I like to write things down. But so the question here that I'm asking myself in my laboratory, labor, oratory, work, and prayer. I'm doing a lot of praying these days, more praying than working. Busyness is laziness, like you don't want to, if you're just procrastinating by doing a lot of work, you're wasting time. So, like, how do we embody a question? Like Rilke said, live the questions. So what does that even mean? I mean, this is the whole mystery, to live the questions, to actually have the courage to not know, to just recognize that you don't know what the hell is going on. Absurdity, that we don't really know what the hell is going on or what's going to happen next. We can get kind of a sense of things, a sense of patterns, and patterns and rhythms and cycles and things can help us kind of drop in and be more present to greater or lesser extent. I am definitely someone that needs to be held by a container. You have to determine the extent to which you need that for yourself. But yeah, how do we embody a question? How do we live the question? So the question is an altar where you rest your mind. You can just go back to it. It's not about getting an answer. It's this opening and deepening and flowering of experience.